Oh,
Good, good, good. What can I do for you?
so let me see. Hold on. I think I have the another Google thing open somewhere. Um, but so I was looking at shoot, what happened? I was looking at a deal on the MLS. This one over here. Let me see if I can share my screen. Um, there's something on the.
Well, I don't necessarily need the address. I just need the numbers.
Oh, okay. Me. So sorry. The purchase price or the inputs was 600,000. Um, they're asking 554,000.
Okay.
And okay, so I put in it was 0% interest. I left that alone, 30% amortization. Monthly payment, Deal Sniper said was 1720.
Okay.
And then I think the estimated rentals, let me do this again just in case I had it wrong. So the estimated rent it said was 1,000, basically 1,200, but it's a 4-unit in Las Vegas.
Gotcha. So the issue is that Deal Sniper doesn't know how to do rental rates for multifamilies or
Oh,
multi-units.
okay.
So it's giving you the rent for however many bedrooms and bathrooms for the entire building, as opposed to the rent for one unit. So what I would do is I would go to put the address in Zillow, and you can either go to properties for rent. They'll give you a rental estimate even if you don't go to properties for rent,
Mhm.
and find out how much the rental estimate is for one unit or for each unit.
Okay.
Subtract 20% from the Zillow number, and add them all together. How many units are there?
Four. For
Okay,
2 units.
so you would add all the units together as
Okay.
far as the rent for times four, and then that's where you would put in the LTR section for rent on the deal machine calculator, which would be right here.
Okay. Okay. And then I do want to share my screen because I was just curious as to why you might think like they're asking 554, but the Zestimate was 380 something.
If I had to guess, I would say that's probably because the Zestimate is going off of the building and the purchase price is going off of the income that it generates.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So basically I would just come in, do all the calculations you just told me to do, go back to Deal Machine and enter it here, and then go under Seller Finance, the Seller Finance tab, and add all of those details, correct?
Correct. Yeah. If all the units are in one building, which it sounds like it is, then Deal Sniper's taxes and insurance, that's accurate. You can use that. Actually, everything from Deal Sniper is accurate. The only thing that's not accurate is the rent. So once you figure that out, you can just put the rest in like you normally would.
Okay. And then I kind of, well, not kind of, I did. I really haven't been active. But she just turned 1, so I'm like, gotta get on it. But my husband and I are making offers mainly for ourselves, but of course, if anything doesn't work for us, I would love to wholesale it. So I'm assuming I should still keep the wholesale fee in the calculator when I go to Deal Machine.
Yes, you should and you shouldn't. I think by the time you get to the calculator, because a couple of things have to happen for for you to determine if that's going to be the right move or not. You could just blanket, yeah, I'm going to add the assignment fee across the board, and that's fine, but that's not your biggest issue. I'm just assuming that the maximum down payment, monthly payment, cash on cash return, cash flow is going to what you're looking for is probably going to be different than what my standard rules are.
Mm.
And everything that I've done for all the program, the calculator, the trainings is based off of wholesaling it. What I mean by that is my investors won't take any more than 10 to 12% down total entry fee. But if it's a property you're going to take down yourself, maybe you'll go up to 15, 20%. So by the time you determine if it's a property you're going to take down yourself, you should know if you're going to put the assignment fee in there or not. If it's something where the real estate agent responds positively, the property is within range for what you're looking for, then I would say leave the wholesale fee off of it.
Okay.
If you can tell, if you got a real estate agent that's interested in your offer, but you're like, yeah, we don't want this one, then throw it on because chances are you're going to wholesale that one. That way you keep the numbers cleaner. You don't
Okay.
get confused.
Okay. So when people are when I would email a real estate agent, I would just email. I mean, I clean up these numbers a little bit and then just email them this pretty much for the most part.
Correct. Yeah. Did you guys get a chance to watch the intro video with me and Mills?
No, I was looking at one of the playlists, but I don't know if I saw one with you and Mills.
Okay. 1 second here.
Well, what are we doing here? Let's put on Miss Rachel.
Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel has toys at Walmart now.
Does she? Oh,
Yeah,
wow. I have a
pajamas and
2-year-old
everything.
and a 1-year-old, and they both love her. So that might be some Christmas gifts.
Yeah, they've got a doll that you can squeeze it. I got it for my goddaughter, and it'll sing her songs and talk. I mean, it's literally cut straight from the videos.
That's amazing.
All right. So I just put in the playlist, not in the playlist, I'm sorry, in the in-call chat. Here's a link to a playlist that I think will help.
Okay.
And it's basically going to break down everything for Deal Sniper.
Okay. Oh, okay. This is not the one I was looking at. Okay. Perfect. And so for instance, I've done one offer today. I sent that email, and fortunately I decided to try and call the agent, but I guess he's on a team, so he was like, that's not really my deal. So he gave me the correct agent's email, but generally speaking, you would call and see if they got it, right?
Always, yeah. I'm gonna send the email out and I'm gonna give them a call. Hey, George, I just sent you an offer on Wheelwright Drive. Did you get it? Cool. Want to take a look at that? Tell me what you think. Got a couple of minutes to go over it. I want to start a conversation so that I can figure out if they're interested in creative financing. Is this an option? And if it is, then I go into everything else. But I want to know right off the bat, did you get it? Do you like it? Are you willing to entertain it? If you're not, okay, I'm not wasting my time. I'll call you in a month when the property's still on market.
Right. Okay. And when they asked for proof of funds, are you sending like something that you have already, or like your own personal info, or how does that usually work?
If it's for something that I'm going to take down myself, then yeah, I'll send my proof of funds. If it's something that I'm going to wholesale, then I just use the proof of funds answer in the Discord. That's probably your best bet to go. It's in the cheat sheet channel.
Cheat sheet channel. It's called the proof of funds. What?
In the cheat sheet answer that says, it literally says POF answer.
Oh, okay.
And then there's another. I mean, I always recommend that everyone basically memorize the entire cheat sheet because that's literally a roadmap of how to navigate 99.9% of the conversations you're going to have with real estate agents. But first and foremost would be the POF and the Y0%, because those are going to be two of your biggest objections and issues to deal with.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm looking at that now. So you're talking about this right here?
No, I mean, yes and no. That's the quick question guide, which is fine. But if you go to the Discord, you'll see cheat sheet for creative deals. I think it's right above the link where you got this.
Okay, let me see. Oh, I see it. Cheat sheet for creative deals. Okay.
And that's literally any issue, objection, concern that a real estate agent would have. That's how I answer it in my own words. Once you understand it, then you can answer, change it into how the way that you speak and then deliver the same information.
Okay. So I see this right here, right?
Yep, that's the channel.
Okay. And so just go through this. It's not like in a spreadsheet or anything.
No, I didn't put that in a spreadsheet. Some of the ones I do, but like right there, there's the POF answer.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
anytime a real estate agent asks me for a POF for a property that I'm going to wholesale, I say that because that's the truth.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool.
And I've got something in there for just about everything. Real estate agents asking for contact information, credit reports for the buyer, telling them to get their own mortgage. There's like 20 in there.
Okay. Okay. I think this will answer a lot of my questions. I'm glad you showed it to me because I didn't see this one in particular.
No problem.
Okay. I don't know why I was so thought this was gonna be way more detailed than it is, but okay, thank you. This is helpful.
Yeah, it's wholesaling and creative financing in particular. Wholesaling itself is easy. It's simple. It's just not easy.
Mhm.
It's easy. It's simple. The process is very simple. You call someone, you negotiate a price, you get it under contract. You call someone else, you negotiate a higher price, you sell it to them. Three
Right.
pieces of paperwork, and 30 days later, you get a check. But it's not easy until you learn how to look at things a little bit differently. It's like playing chess. Do you know how to play chess?
I don't.
Okay. It's a lot like playing chess. When I learned how to play chess, I had to learn how each piece moved, and then the strategy just came because okay, this piece can do that, but then that means I can do this in the future. So that's all this is. Once you learn what all of this means, navigating it using the strategy it's going to be super easy.
Okay. And the offers that we get from Deal Sniper and Deal Machine, the numbers, they're pretty accurate.
That depends. Would accurate meaning
like they make sense. They're not like over
as long as it says, again, yeah, you haven't seen the playlist, so this makes sense. So if you take a look at a deal, for example, and before I clean up my numbers or anything, I'm going to click on Section 8 and I'm going to click on long-term rental because I want to see if they cash flow. And the way that I check that is I'm looking at this number right here. And if this number here is not 5% or more, I'm not sending an offer out on this property. So,
which,
and that's,
I'm sorry, my screen was big, so I couldn't see yours.
This number here, the cash on cash return.
So if it's less than 5%, you say you're not even going to send an offer.
I'm not sending the offer because it doesn't cash flow. I mean, look at this one here. It's negative $80 in cash flow. Now, I only need one of these to work. It can be long term or it can be short or Section 8. So if I look at this long term, now this one is 7.36. The reason why, and I'm glad you're the one noticing the benefits of it, is that you can use Deal Sniper for your own personal deals as a buyer, and that's how we designed it. But this part is putting in a fictitious mortgage, which is affecting all the rest of these numbers here. So what we found, or what I found, is that when Deal Sniper says the cash on cash return is 5% or more, then once you put it into the deal machine calculator, which doesn't have that fictitious mortgage, then the numbers usually end up being significantly better. Like I'm willing to bet if I put this deal into the deal machine calculator, the cash on cash return would be probably 15% or more.
Okay.
Because this isn't calculating any type of mortgage or anything like that. Now, unless we're talking about a hybrid, but you manually put that in, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. I think that makes sense. So I'll go through the playlist some more because there are a few playlists, right?
Oh yeah, there's close to 1,000 videos on the channel, and I want to say 90% of them are all functional videos of how to do this, how to do that, how to navigate this, how to use this calculator, this system, whatever. So yeah, it's all in there.
Okay. Okay. I'll go through that. But that was helpful. The Zillow question was the big one that I was like, this doesn't make sense. Are they really over asking? But the price looked normal to me.
Yeah, I thought I was about to give you bad news because you're like 1,700 and then 1,300 for the rent. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense until you told me it was a multifamily. Then okay, yeah, that makes plenty of sense.
Okay. So if I'm looking at multifamily, this is what I should do on the regular in general is go and look up what the rents are kind of going for in general.
And subtract 20%. That's just if you're using Zillow. If you're paying for something like Privy or what's the other one, Rentometer, then you can just go by the numbers that they give you. But if you're going to go the route where, hey, I just want to look at Zillow or Redfin or something like that, whatever they give you as a rental estimate, subtract 20%, that's your rent.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Anything else I can help you with?
I think that's it for now. I'll go do some homework.
Cool. And then anytime you or your husband need to jump on another one-on-one, you guys just hit me up.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem. Have a great rest of your night.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.